case. President Mahama didn't do that. And Bernard, before you come, what is even more shocking is the fact that Dr. Asiamah was standing trial at the court, not alone, but together with other people, including the UT Bank officials, some former ministers in the NDC government. But President Mahama has singled out Dr. Asiamah and cleared him of the charges and withdrawn his case, leaving the other people to go through the court processes and the prosecution. So what informs the president's decision to only discontinue the case of Dr. Asiamah and leave the others to go through the processes? So these are questions that we are asking.
Fair enough. So this particular last question you're asking is in reference to the case involving the financial sector. I wanted to point out two things to you: that he is not the only person who has had cases dropped against him. So, for example, the current finance minister had a case which this new AG dropped as well, together with other cases like the CocoBot CEO, the case involving the Seidu Agongo and co. So, if the person who's going to be in charge of the public purse was also going through a court process and the AG dropped charges, and we didn't hear any noise from the minority side, why are you picking on the nominee for governor, who hadn't even had his case actually travel? Because we understand that for him, the matter was started in 2018, but because of some preliminary issues and for some of the parties going to the Supreme Court, he's not even properly opened his defense. So why are you picking and choosing which one to tackle?
Yeah, Bernard, don't take the wind out of our sail. In the subsequent days, you will hear from the minority coming back to some of these issues and speaking about the other issues. Today, we decided to pick on the issue of the governor. And I can bet you between now and Monday, you will hear another press conference from the minority dealing with the other government appointees whose cases have been discontinued at the courts. We're going to go to talk about those ones. And we brought out the issue of the governor of the Bank of Ghana because yesterday, if you remember, the minority leader had cause to write to the president because the governor, his appointment as per Article 1834A of the Constitution, is supposed to come into effect with the consultation of the Council of State. The Council of State is not yet constituted, but this gentleman runs to the Bank of Ghana office to hold meetings at the office. So we drew the president's attention yesterday that we have not exhausted all the processes leading to his approval. So he cannot go to the bank and act as if he's been approved to act. And in so doing, in highlighting that, we needed to draw the attention of the Ghanaian community, the president, the International Monetary Fund, and all the agencies involved, that Dr. Johnson Asiamah, his appointment and the decision by the president to discontinue his case at the court for us is born out of bad faith. And it raises questions as to whether or not President Mahama truly is committed to fighting corruption. Because President Mahama is coming from he's in a government that was built from a party that talks about probity and accountability. But so there's a process to ensure probity and accountability. Why do you discontinue that process?
So those are fair questions, and I also guess it's a fair question to ask in relation to, and I'm not trying to equalize with Atu Forsen, but
no problem.
Isn't it
Except
strange?
That I can't hear you well, Bernard.
I'm saying, isn't it strange that the finance minister nominee appeared before a vetting committee which had both sides, and he was vetted for over 4.5 hours, and the matter of his case was not even brought up in the vetting? And this is the same minority, and in fact, I believe you were in that vetting as well. This is the same minority now that's raising a matter against Dr. Asiamah. That's number one. Number two, both of us are not lawyers, but we do know that a man is innocent until proven guilty. And since government is a continuum, and the government has said that they've dropped charges against him, why is that a problem? So on his record, if there's no charge, why is that an issue?
Yeah, so Bernard, we haven't passed judgment first and foremost as to whether he's guilty of the crimes that have been labeled against him. We haven't passed judgment. It is only the court of competent jurisdiction that can decide, and that is why we think the president should still allow the court processes to run. Then on the issue of the finance minister, and when it came to the vetting committee, you and I are very much aware of the issues we raised at the first vetting visit. I led the press conference, and we tabled a lot of issues that happened on the part of the chairman and some decisions he took and powers he assumed that he didn't have that we were not happy about. So Atuforce's vetting is something that, if you ask me, was exhaustive. I will tell you it was not exhaustive, but I have indicated to you that there is a plan that we want to roll out as far as these discontinued cases at the courts are concerned. And in the subsequent days, you will hear from our legal side of the minority dealing with all the other legal issues and the court cases that have been discontinued. I can promise you, between now and Monday, you hear from us, including that of Honorable Atuforce and the Finance Minister. So it is not as if we have glossed over that or we have forgotten about that. We indeed have that as part of our plans to bring that also to the fore, to the attention of the President.
Just to clarify a minor point around legal technicality. So the case that he was involved in, or the matter that is in question, involves other people. And you're saying that your preference would have been for the case to run its course and for him to be discharged and acquitted, which would have been a more substantive matter. In this particular case, the government has just dropped the charges against him. Would it have sat better with you if the whole case was discontinued? And for the fact that he was singled out, is that your problem? Because as you rightly said, the matter involves... No, hold on, let me just finish the question. The matter involves Dr. Dufour as well. It also involves the UT case. So it's one case, if I'm to understand this. He was accused alongside other people in violation of the BOG Act. Of course, he said through his agents that he's innocent of the charges. So my question to you is that if the whole matter had been... You are saying if the matter has been dispensed with and he had been discharged and acquitted, that would have been better. But to the extent that the AG sought to just drop charges against only him, you feel that that's not right. I'm just trying to understand your position on the legal question.
No. So in the interest of the reputational integrity of the country, the central bank governor should not have all these issues around him. So it is proper that the president allows the court process to run the full hog. Then also, we are not saying because he is isolated, leaving the rest, we are not happy with that. All that we want is for the entirety of the people who have been arraigned before the court to go through the process. We want all of them to go through the process. If you're going to discontinue and you have genuine reasons why you should discontinue, you don't discontinue the case of the man who is at the center of the impropriety that we are talking about and leave the rest. What is the justification? It tells you.
But the last question
in there.
The last question for you is
the people he loves.
The last question for you is that the matter was opened in 2018. We are in 2025, right? And from our coverage, we are not even sure if the trial proper has even begun. Should a man be prevented from occupying a position on the basis of a case through which no fault of his has taken almost 6 years?
Bernard, I am not sure I have that quality of mindset and knowledge to determine whether it is proper for him to be standing trial or not. It is only the courts that can determine. That is why we have the law courts and we have the judges who are clothed with the requisite knowledge, capabilities, and skills to determine whether or not a party is guilty of a crime leveled against him or her. So let's allow the court to decide. If we allow the court process to go on and a definitive decision is made, we will not have questions lingering in our minds. We will come to the resolution that the court of competent jurisdiction has passed judgment, and that is final. That is all we want. In that case, we protect he himself, Asiamah, his integrity, and the integrity of the Ghanaian people and the country Ghana, because he's going to be the one protecting and presiding over our monetary policy and decisions at the Central Bank of the Republic. That is all that we are calling for. Unless otherwise, President Mahama, as we can foresee, had some ulterior reason why he decided to single Asiamah out, discontinue his case, and even reward him with a higher position. We find this to be unacceptable, and it indicates President Mahama is not ready to fight corruption, especially when it comes to people he loves and cherishes so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Boako.